Okay, in this clip we're going to talk about something that we do routinely, which is develop headers and social media imagery for blog posts that we do. So let me just go ahead and go to one that we need to get pushed out today. So the blog is already written, and you can see that post here. So you can be thinking about that when you're working on the blog imagery. You can reference the actual blog itself. There's tags and captions here that are used for the social media post itself. And also hashtags that we use. So for all the different places that we post on social, that information is there, and Vince uses that to post with. So if you come back to the task, let's go up to the create post images task. So here, what you want to do is you want to go and track your time. Once you grab that task, you'll put it in you'll change the status to in progress. Start tracking your time, and then you'll find here what you should find is, and we're kind of updating this process since before I didn't really need to think about the source files because they were on my desktop. So there's that link that we just looked at with the blog post itself. Again, you want to review that when you're developing the imagery for the post so you understand what it's referencing. There's an asset folder, which is where you'll drop all the files associated with it. It's also where the video goes. And then if we're working on additional graphics for the post, like maybe a carousel for social media or infographics, which will be something that we will definitely be expanding into as we develop these blog posts and try and flesh that out, because infographics are really great for social media. Those will all be dropped here, and of course the videos go here as well. There's also the source folder. That source folder will give you the 3 templates that you need to use in this case, and we just sort of reference those as we go. And this, so we'll just kind of start jumping into it. So those templates include 2 InDesign files, which are for the YouTube thumbnail and also for the social media thumbnail, which is a square. And then we also have Photoshop template for the header image. Okay, so I've created one actually for a previous video that I wasn't able to save, so we'll go ahead and just do this again. So for this 1x1 image, we'll just go ahead and duplicate the spread, and because it's about websites, what we'll do is we'll just go see if we can find an appropriate image on Unsplash. And once we pay Adobe, they shall be happy to let us use their images. And then we can just do development. And so what you're looking for is something that is appropriate, that sort of maybe tells a story about the web development work that we're doing. Because this blog post explains what kinds of post suite or website structures that we provide. It could be someone like a meeting where people are explaining stuff. I try and use something that's kind of flexible and that people can think about it. So one way that I might think about the image is to have an image of someone who's reading online, as if that's the person who's actually reading about what we're doing. And so I'll probably go ahead and grab this one. And then I usually do a different image for the header than we use for the social media thumbnails. So I'll go ahead and grab that now while I'm at it. And that's a little bit different because it's screen back. It's really there for texture. It doesn't need to really make a statement. It's just there to provide a little bit of interest in that background, but we don't want it to overtake the image. So this is looks like a good. Actually, it doesn't look that good, so we'll use that. Try website design. And again, I'm looking for something I can screen back that isn't too upfront. I tend to like people, so, and this is like a couple of Asian people, so it's kind of nice. Always a little bit of a bonus there. So I'm going to grab that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in and lay that image into, let's see, one. So we're going to open this other one up. Okay. So it doesn't really matter which one you start with. So you'll see here we've got the avatar, so our little icon, logo. We use DAX for our font or our typeface. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab that image. Let's see where it landed. So I'm going to grab her. So when you put it with the headline, and you also have to remember that there's also other things that go into the caption for the image for these, so they don't really have to be totally standalone. But you do want it to be eye-catching, and you want it to be something that someone will tend to look at and maybe click on. So the first thing that they're going to see is the image or the video, depending on which is running at any given time. So what I do now is I go back in and I just go grab something that usually from the intro or the end. So I need something that's pretty short and sweet here. So maybe I'll just go ahead and jump right into the different categories and then let that be the information that we put here. So I put those on the same line. Do something there to sort of ask a question and hopefully provoke a click. And then the way I do that is I just go ahead and copy that headline out here. And obviously I'm not going to be able to do it in the same way. So I need to adapt a little bit to the different formats. It's a good idea. Bring that up so that the text is a little bit more legible. Okay, so now I'll just export that. It's going to ask me which one one it is. I'm going to say 28 because that's the page number I'm on. This has a little bit different pagination, so I'm going to export this as well. So the social media piece is done, and now I'm going to go ahead and open up this Photoshop file. And so you can see here, we use a little screen there to help us make the text pop on the blog. Just going to open that up and then drop that in there, pull it to the next layer. And so that's going to be a little bit funky because that's all I've got. So just so I don't have that line in there, maybe that hand looks a little bit weird. So bring that in there, and then you can adjust the opacity of the screen layer. Maybe just make it a little bit darker, and then I just export that as well to a JPEG also. Okay, so now I'm done with those. They should be on my desktop, I hope. And then I'll drop those into asset folder here. And usually it's a good idea before you do that to just make sure that everything looks like it should. Everything's legible. And that's basically the task. So what we've done is we've launched this task. We've tracked our time in that task. We've opened up the asset folder to get ready to drop things into. We've grabbed from the source files folder, we've grabbed our templates, and then we've created a couple of images to drop in there. And then so now it's in the asset folder and it's all ready to go. And so the last thing is when you're done, you want to go ahead and stop that, and then what you'll normally do is hand that over to me for quality review until we're sure you have the hang of it. Pretty sure I have the hang of it. And then I'm going to go in the next one and then let Vince know it's ready to go. And it's getting close to the day, so I'm going to go ahead and go back into this, copy the link. And while you don't really need to do this if you're in your normal workflow, I'm sort of in a hurry because I want to get this up and push this out to a prospective client. Do it there. And that's it. That's the task.